everyone! I know it's been a while since I've posted a video, but I was waiting for me to get a new mic in so I can actually talk without the audio being muddled and I just got back from going to Ulta and getting some Subway. Yeah. Not attractive. I got a lot of drugstore stuff except for like one item. It's Urban Decay's Big Fatty Mascara, and it was on sale for $10, half off, which is awesome because I can't stand Tarte's mascara because it hurts my eyes. It makes them feel like they're on fire. So this video is going to be mostly showing you guys the rest of the stuff I got and going into creepy things I've experienced. No. Hold on. Sorry about that. So yes, this video is going to be me talking to you guys about, well, telling you guys about creepy things that I've experienced. For some reason I love looking up YouTube creepy stories and story times. I don't know. I found myself, it's like 2 a.m. in the middle of the night and I'm just watching video after video, so I want to make one. So I'm going to try and start out from least creepy to maybe the most creepy. Anyways, I'm almost certain everyone, at least anyone who identifies as a woman, has experienced creepy guys. Yeah. About a year and a half ago, maybe closer to 2 years ago, I was walking to work. I used to walk to work. This is when I worked customer service at Kmart. The walk wasn't anything too bad. It was like a 30-minute walk if I, powered through it. It wasn't like a strange thing for me to hear a random honk going on from guys driving by, but this one guy was relentless and creepy. Oh my gosh. About halfway through my walk, he first drove by through he was on the other side of the road. So like when I'm walking this way and the cars are going this way, he's on the other side. And he just honks. I don't really pay much attention. He ends up doing a U-turn and slows down as he comes up to me. Says something out his window, I don't know. At that point I'm just kind of like tunnel visioning it, like just go. And then he'd drive off because he was slowing down traffic. And then he'd do it again and again. And eventually, as I'm walking up to the parking lot on the side of the store location I work at, he drove into the parking lot area right beside me. It was starting to drizzle, and I did not want to go into the store because it's in a plaza, so I could have been going somewhere else. But I just did not want this guy knowing where I worked. I didn't want him going into the store since I worked front desk. It was just, no. And he just kind of hung out the window and was just like, hey, can I talk to you, or you want to talk to me, or whatever. And I was just like, no thank you, no thank you, I'm fine, no thank you. After like the half-dozen time, the 6th time this dude had me telling him no thank you, like I don't want to be overtly like aggressive with him because I don't know what he's gonna do. But I don't know, I just ended up saying it, and I'm just like, I think I actually ended up, I flipped him off and I was like, F you, leave me alone. And he just goes, that's why you're walking in the rain, you stuck up bitch. He just leaves, like he just floors it. Not like floors it, it's like he's like, argh! But you still hear the tire screech and he just leaves. So that was fun. Next story. This was when I was, I think, a junior or sophomore in high school. I was in our honor society, and the club, we would meet up after school, but my sister, who was my ride every day after school, always took forever to pick me up. Sometimes I'd be waiting an hour to 2 hours for her to come get me. Needed to hydrate, sorry. So what I was doing, I was sitting in the carpool lot area, and it was pretty much a little past dusk, and it was starting to get really dark. So I'm just sitting there and waiting, and this guy pulls up in like you know, really old used junky car. Yeah, he pulled up in one of those and once again was hanging out his window, and he's just like, hey, come here, come here. And I take like maybe 1 or 2 steps, and he's like a good 20 feet away from me though. Like, I don't go any close. I don't even go off the curb. And I'm just like, do you need something? Can I help you? And he's just like, do you know where the basketball game is going on now? And I'm just, I wasn't into sports. I didn't know shit. I'm just like, no, I'm sorry. We have 2 gyms. So it might be in the new one, which is like on the other side of the campus. He's like, oh, okay. Okay. And I'm like, okay. And then he's just like, do you have a ride? Is a ride coming for you? And I'm just like, yeah, they're on their way. And he's just like, can you come here, come closer? No, I don't want to go closer. I'm like, no, thank you, I'll stay here. And he's just like, no, come here. I'm like, no, I'm fine. Whatever you need to say, you could say from there in your car, and I'm here. And he's just, oh, do you need a ride? I can give you a ride. And he's pushing it, and he's like really pushing it. And it just, I had the most terrible feeling in like the pit of my stomach, and I just knew I could not go anywhere near that car. I could not. And the guy just kind of like he's looking around, he's really sketchy, like he's scared someone's gonna see him or something talking to me. And I'm like, I'm fine, my ride, I swear, she's on her way, it's my sister, she's on her way, I'm fine, thank you, like, good night. And he's just like, okay then. Yeah. So we have like these construction workers right next to our townhouse. So as he's driving away, I don't know how I memorized his license plate, but I did, and which is strange because I can't remember shit. So I remembered it. I pulled something out of my book bag just to write it down really quick, and the next day I went to my high school campus. We have like an on-site police like station. God, these people are really loud. They've been out there since like 10 and it's like 5. I tell them what happened and how it was really weird and sketchy, and he just gave me really bad vibes, and then they just kind of pause and they're just like, there was no basketball game. And I'm like, you sure? I mean, I don't know, but he seemed like he was trying to find it. And they're like, no, there's no basketball game at all. And they're just like, you did a really good job at being able to get his license plate number. And so I had to go back to like class though. And later they got with me and they're like, they were able to find him. And it turned out they actually had like a warrant for his arrest for something. I can't remember. But yeah, I'm pretty quite certain that if I got up to his window, he would have abducted me. And I would not be here eating Subway. So, next creepy story. Man, I don't know which is creepiest, so I'm just gonna go with the most recent one. And it was my Tumblr stalker scare? Yeah. No, Moody. So, it's not like it was wild or drawn out. It's not like I had someone mailing me creepy packages or whatever, but, I am active on Tumblr. I really hope that the mic doesn't pick this up. It looks like they have a huge garbage disposal for tree branches going on. Whatever they're called. So what had happened, this was probably exactly like around a year ago, like last June. I was getting anon hate like I tend to do, and if you know me from Tumblr, I kind of feed the trolls, but in a way where I kind of like screw with them back. I just like to make fun of them. Whatever. So I was just getting an anon hate, and it was the usual stuff. which is fine because, like, well, it's not fine. So yeah, it's not fine. But I blog a lot about body positivity, especially about size acceptance for people who are bigger. I'm not scared of using the word fat, but yeah. So I had gotten really a lot of followers in the last year previous to this, at that point in time, and so I like cut back on a lot of blogging about the place of work I was at. So I was really careful about not talking about where I worked. Just that I worked customer service at Popular whatever. I don't care about talking about it now because I don't work there. I don't even live in that same state anymore. I got this just out of the blue sort of like anon hate saying white whale spotted at Savannah Kmart. I didn't even post it because, one, it was so off-putting that someone would even know where I worked, let alone implying that they had seen me in person and then went to send anon hate to me. I didn't say anything on my blog about it. I was irked out at least, so I just kind of thought that it would go away. And then I was getting this really persistent anon about half a week later, and they were just very typical anon hate stuff, like about how I'm a bitch, I'm a cunt, and I was just doing the usual thing when I do mock anons back. So, but they just kept going, and then they ended up saying basically, what would the management think at Kmart if they knew your like Tumblr persona or something, and basically saying that they're going to give them a call and all this other stuff. Then they started sending me anon messages about how, you know, you're a lot fatter in person and I've been within 10 feet of you and you don't even know. That scared the shit out of me. Like, that night I had to work, and I only worked night shifts. I worked from 6 to close, usually about 4 to 5 days out of the week, sometimes 6. And I remember going to work, freaked out, and on my break, my SD card got full, so I had to switch stuff out. Anyway, so where was I? Oh, Tumblr Stalker. So on my 15-minute break, I immediately went to purchase mace. I still have it, and it makes me feel better having it, especially after that. And I don't know if I should be expecting this person to call my management, and I had changed my URL, and they still found me. I changed my URL after blocking them because the old blocking system on Tumblr was that if you block someone, they can still see your blog, they can still go and visit your blog. But I changed my URL and I reserved the one that I had and created a fake theme that made it look like I deactivated my account. And that night, like I said, I got this mace and I didn't know if he was gonna call or she was gonna call, but like they had sent me threatening messages as well. So I got really scared. I almost contemplated going to loss prevention, but I didn't. I just wanted to wait a few days and see if it would just blow over. And I mean, eventually it did, because I ended up blocking them. So no one actually, you know, was waiting in the parking lot for me. No one was calling at the actual store. But the fact that they knew where I worked at that time, the likelihood of them knowing where was unlikely from me talking about it, you know, like over a year ago at that point in time. So yeah, that went away, which was nice, but I'm glad I got the mace because it makes me feel better because there are so many creepy people who shop at Kmart. So my #1 creepy story which my mom did not know anything about until a couple months ago, and she was like, you should have called the police, but I was like an 8-year-old child and just didn't. So anyways, let me tell you what it's about. So me and my group of friends, we were on our bikes exploring like we sometimes do, and like kids, when we see a no trespassing sign, what do? We trespass. We crossed the little chain thing, and what it was is right behind these houses, and it was at a corner, and then you have houses and then like this man-made pathway thing into the woods or whatever. And it was very wide. It was wide enough for it to be like a road, so it looked like they were just going to add on to the neighborhood, like create another street or something. So we took our bikes and we went down there, and this was our first time seeing it, and it opened up into this meadow, so it almost looked like they could be making another cul-de-sac. They were making another cul-de-sac. And we just kind of like looked around, and it was so cool, and being 8-year-olds, we were just like, oh yeah. We ended up going back and seeing this guy in a yellow punch bug. We saw this car going down there, and we thought that was freaking weird, considering it's a no trespassing, and we're like, that's our spot, dude, what are you doing? We kind of we passed the chain and crept down the little way as, to kind of like preface, when we were initially in the meadow, you'll notice that on like the northeast side of like the circle, there's another like road or like road that was being cleared out, but it had a lot of mud, like at least you could sink halfway to your shin kind of mud. We were creeping up the thing to follow the guy. We waited a little bit first, but then we just followed him with our bikes, and we were just creeping with our bikes, and then we set the bikes down, and then we kind of crouched and walked, and eventually just kind of like crouched down at the corner where it would eventually open up into that meadow, and his car was parked by that muddy ass little path. And he had, if my memory serves me correctly, these like fishing boots, the kind that you can use when you're like in the water and it's like almost knee length, but it's kind of, yeah. So he had one of those on, and he was picking something up huge. I know I don't know him, but he was a guy living in one of the houses close by to this no trespassing sign. I recognized the punch buggy because it's always sat in that driveway. So I know he didn't have any actual business being there, and he was just pulling out this huge, like, person-sized, body-sized black trash bag thing that was like just big, and he had to hold it like you would hold a person in your arms. And we were a good, like, from the entrance of the meadow to where he was, it wasn't like we were super up close, but close enough where we knew what we were seeing was probably not good to see. So he just took the big black trash bag, what looked like a body thing, and disappeared down the muddy trail. And the moment he did that, we booked it. We were gone. We're like, we need to go back to see what that was, instead of the obvious thing to do is go tell your parents. So we I think it was like the next day or something, can't really remember. Like I said, this was like 15 years ago, guys. But we went back and we tried to go down that muddy path, and we couldn't. That's how muddy it was. Our shoes were getting stuck in the mud. It was just too difficult to walk. And we just ended up leaving, and we never really talked about it again. And yeah, to this day I don't know if I saw a dead body or not, and that's a little creepy. Yeah, So those are my creepy stories, just a handful of them. Hope you guys were interested in hearing it. Hope you guys actually listened to all of it. I'm gonna try and make sure this video is cut down to a moderate length. And now, yeah. And click here. I guess I'll create a thing. If you want to see more on my Ulta haul, which isn't really anything extravagant, but I don't have the money to go do an actual haul. So anyways, thank you for watching. Please subscribe and comment and tell me what you liked, what you didn't like, and I'll see you guys later.